Good morning. This is Pam, Flower Patch Farmhouse, and today I'm going to show you how I prune my Zepherine Drouhin rose and I train it up my porch post to bloom up along the fascia as well as up and down the entire plant. Now, this is not the renovation prune like I do on my blog website. This is just to neaten it up and get it ready for winter and for next spring so that I get a lot of blooms. So first of all, I'm going to start by cleaning up down here at the base so I can see what's down there and where to start from and choose which canes are going to stay, which are going to be pruned back hard, and others that are going to be pruned down about midway. And then we'll start tying it up. Okay, I think that's everything I'm going to do. So stick around and enjoy it. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you will know every time I put up a new DIY garden or home video. I have a lot of plants in here yet. Some of them are going to be moved, like that not Aaron's beard, but the valerian. But there's a lot of things that need to be really trimmed back, like this hardy geranium and even these crocosmia leaves, stems. I absolutely love these this year. I may dig those up and put them somewhere else. And there's some iris in here that have gotten buried. They're going to enjoy getting the sunshine. And I have a big vole hole here. Oh my word, big vole nest. Crikey, they really went to town here. So I'm going to trim back this hardy geranium. I've really had a hard time, if you hadn't heard in other videos, with voles this year. They've really been bad. Now, it won't hurt this geranium at all. It's a hardy geranium. This one's called Tiny Monster, to be really cut back. I'm going to have to move these lily irises for sure. Wow. I've never seen that big old burrow like that before. Good thing I'm doing this to find this. I have a product I've been putting down. It's got made from castor beans, and it's supposed to chase the voles out, and I'm hoping it's going to work well, because I don't know what else to do other than to put everything in raised beds with cage bottoms. But so far, when I put it in an area, it seems to drive them out. They go to a new area, and the recommendation is to start at the center of the garden and just keep moving them out until they're completely out of your garden. The downside is you have to keep reapplying it every, I think, 45 days. There's some little stems here. Oh, the rose. Okay, I'm probably going to speed this up because you don't want to sit here and watch this boring part. So I've gotten most of the debris and plants that were around the base of the rose taken out and cleaned up. There are a few things that I let remain, and that was this iris here, and there's a foxglove here, and the stems are my crocosmias, and I wanted those to stay. And I have a bunch of little tiny spindly limbs coming up from the bottom, and in the snow they would just be crushed and broken. So I'm just going to take them out, and that will expose the base here. So I can see that I have this one big cane coming up. This one, it's tender, but if I tie it up it'll be fine. Here's a new cane that shot up this spring, and here's one of the older canes that I had pruned back or had left in a previous prune. So I want to keep all of these canes. Now up higher they have branched out where they have sent out lateral canes. Like this one has a lateral cane right here. It has two of them, and I can take one of them out because it'll be just a little too thick. And then there's another one up here. So that's where I'm going to make my different choices next. And this one has a really big one going up right here. and it's really tall and growing healthy, and I may want to train that one as one of them to go up along the eave. So it's important to follow the canes up to where they end and decide which ones you want to keep. Now this one has a cane that's going up through the lattice and up through the base of my deck, and I'm going to take that one out because I don't need it going up through my porch floorboards. Now it's not very thick. I think I could do it with my hand pruners. I don't have to get out my loppers. Yeah. And that's going to come out, and I just cut it in sections. Oh, now it's going to pull. Now if it was going to be difficult to pull, I guess when I hit the leaves, I'll just pull it up through my porch there instead of continuing through the lattice. I don't want to harm the lattice. So some of these really can come out, like this one. Now I'm looking for ones I'm going to train upwards or towards the wall here. Now this one is shooting straight out. It's getting tall, but I already have 1, 2, 3 that are already up there. I don't need another one that tall. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one down lower, and it will shoot out laterals down here. So I'll get a bloom down here. Now this one has something wrong with it. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, if there's other things in the way, but right here, so I'm going to take that out. It just split off in my hand. So yeah, the whole cane has some brown tissue in it, so I'm just going to take it all the way off. And then this one down here, pointing downwards, that one can come off too. Now that is on that older cane, and I'm going to try to follow it up. Now, this one has a bunch of gnarly bits on it. I had thought about keeping it, but I see it's got some damage here. So I'm just going to go ahead and take it off. No sense in letting bugs and stuff get in when I've got plenty of other tall canes. Now this ended up, because we ended up getting some really cold nights, but the days warmed up, powdery mildew. This thing is susceptible to powdery mildew. I have a spray that has a baking soda base, and I just didn't keep up with spraying it to keep the powdery mildew at bay. Now this one is a little spindly one coming out to the side. There are 2 of them. Those can come off. This will send out new shoots in the spring to bloom. This one's obviously already broken. So anyways, back to the powdery mildew. I usually strip the leaves from the plant as soon as winter really hits, and that way it doesn't carry the powdery mildew all winter long. I do spray the canes with my spray. It's called Green Cure, and that helps to keep it better at bay. I do not use a systemic. I know many people use a systemic, and that does work, but also the findings have hinted or suggested that. Anyways, some reason the camera shut off, and the systemics actually have been found to harm the birds, and they are dramatically decreasing in the United States. So just be aware of that. So, and the systemics are based on neonicotinoids, or whatever, however they're called, that so many people are trying to avoid, and then they turn around and buy these systemics and put it right into the plant, and they don't realize it. Okay, so we were thinning out all the skinny little laterals coming off. Like, and I'll say little laterals. See this one right here? That's a little skinny thing, and it can come off, only so that you can really see what you're doing. And because I'm going to train this around this porch post, and I'm going to kind of wrap it around, and then that way it will create more blooms, because more of it's more of a horizontal direction, and also it will go up along my porch post. So that is my plan. So I'm just, like these ones that are bending down, those can just go, because they will just get torn off in the snow. And all these little bitty ones. The larger canes will send out new laterals, and those are what will bloom. I'm inspecting this. It's got some burnt leaves. Okay. I'm going to go up on the porch and pick out which ones I want to wrap around my porch post and which ones I want to train up along the eave. I may only do one because you want airflow. That will prevent other funguses. So just see some leaves. There. This one can go down a little bit further, and this one can come off. There, you can get a really good visual. All right, up to the porch I go. Now here you can see this cane is coming up through the porch, and I'm just going to leave that one alone. And then this one is the one I just cut off, and that one's going to come out. That was growing through my porch floorboards. And this one's got a lot of little laterals coming off of it, but this one is the one I'm going to tie up, and I have hooks along my fascia up there, the porch fascia. Get that out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. And I have my pantyhose strips here. This is what I tie up my roses with because it stretches as it needs, and then it also turns green and becomes just about invisible. But I'm going to tie it here to the porch, and then I will tie it to, well, off camera because this is going to get tricky. I'm going to tie it to those hooks that I have along there. Now this one, I need to find out where it's coming from. Oh, it's a lateral coming off of this one. So it will just get trained around the porch post. And I'll tie it up there with this. That is going to be tricky again, and I don't feel like making a fool of myself on camera. So this one coming out to the side, I may decide to do something different with, because I have two coming up. That's great. This one is up here, the third. This is a lateral that's probably going to get broken off, so I'll trim that off. I didn't bring my cutters up here, but this one will get trimmed off. And this leaves this last big long one, and decide if I want to train it up the post too. I think I will. I'll have 3 going up there, and that way they can all, this will grow longer, and I will train it along the fascia too, and I can tie it right here. And that leaves that one. That one can get trimmed off. It's kind of spindly, but for now it's blooming. So let me get down here where you can see me. So that is how I train this climber up this. Like I said, these leaves will all be stripped off. It'll look naked for a while, but then it will fill back in. And this one, I was thinking hard about. I think I'm going to prune it down because then you'll have more blooms down here because it will send out laterals. And this one too. So you'll have 3 main stems with several laterals coming out of it. That has one there. That's the one that has the blooms on it right now up top. And this one, well, I could cut it off here. It'll put laterals out here. It always wants to seem to come out above rather than below. And then at the base, let me see. You can see the base again. So down there at the base, you can plant, I'm going to mulch it, but you could plant like a low growing ground cover or whatever to cover the base. I could move some of that hardy geranium or not. It just depends. I have another hardy geranium I might want to put there that does beautifully. You just got to keep it trimmed back to keep it short. But that's how you keep the bottom pretty. Sorry, I had a gnat on me. Or just mulch it well, and it will perform beautifully. And I will come back next spring and I will show you how this rose looks when it's in full bloom. One thing I did want to mention is there's no better teacher than to just experiment. Climbing roses are pretty tough, and they're not going to cock up their heels and die just because you cut in the wrong place. Now, this is, like I said, a vintage rose. It's been around for 100 years, and it's just tough. So don't worry about it. Get in there, prune what you think needs pruning, like this little side shoot, lateral. It's kind of spindly. It might get broke off in the snow. It is a little bit more protected up here against the house, but if you're looking to tidy it up for the winter, then go ahead and take off some of these. See, these ones, like I said, this is a cane, here's a lateral. This, the tip of it is what bloomed. So, don't worry, it will send out more of them along the cane next spring. And so it's not a big deal to trim it back. And see what you got, what you have to work with, and what needs to go. Anyways, I hope this was comprehensive enough for you that you can get in there and prune. This is especially for going up a post. On my arbor, which I have my Eden climbing rose, I did a video where I partially pruned it for you. I stopped because I had so many blooms still that I decided I didn't want to lose them yet. And I'll finish that up. But if you want the picture post step by step, there is one on my blog, and it's under Prune Your Eden Rose. You put it in the search bar and it'll show you the pictures step by step. And the start of the video will help you too on my YouTube channel. So there you have it. Pruning a rose to climb up a porch post and across an eave, a climbing rose.